Welcome to the session 2 of our training, that is reconnaissance or information gathering. Now, in this session 2, our main topic of the hour are introduction to vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, web application testing standards, phases of hacking, Martin Lockheed cyber kill chain, information gathering, and types of information gathering. Now, when we talk about security and organization, the security and organization means a lot to a client or to a customer. If the organization is not secure, client won't be interested at all in your organization, because if the client cannot trust that you can keep their data secure, then how can they be a part of your organization, or how they can trust you? So that's why VAPT is required for each and every for every web application network, or even for the infrastructure of an organization. So today we'll be discussing all about introduction to VA and PT, that is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. We have got these four terms, that is V as in vulnerability, A as in assessment, P as in penetration, T as in testing. So when we talk about all these four words, that is vulnerability. Vulnerability is considered to be a loophole or a security weak point or a weak security countermeasure via which an attacker can gain the access of your system and can exploit your device. Assessment means to find out all those vulnerabilities which are present inside your device and to make a report for the same. Penetration means to validate all the above vulnerabilities which have been found out by a pen tester or a cybersecurity analyst or a consultant, and to remove all those false positive, and to do a testing means to generate a report with a valid proof or proof of concept that we have gained the access of your system. So in short, vulnerabilities are the weak points. Assessment means to find out all those weak points inside a network, web application, or in an infrastructure. Penetration means to breach into or to penetrate into the network, web application, or infrastructure via the above listed vulnerabilities. And testing means to perform a test and to generate a POC of the same vulnerabilities via which an attacker can gain the access of your device and can breach your data with a valid proof, and to validate all the vulnerabilities which have been found above. Now this whole term VA and PD, that is vulnerability assessment penetration testing, is divided into two terms, that is vulnerability assessment and second one is the penetration testing. When we talk about this term vulnerability assessment, vulnerability assessment means to find out all the vulnerabilities and list them and make a report for the same. And penetration testing means to penetrate into the system via the above listed vulnerabilities and to validate all the vulnerabilities and to remove all the false positive, sometimes which can also lead us to perform remediation and mitigation, which is if asked by the client. So let's say if there is an organization XYZ who has just launched their web application where various users are registering their accounts and themselves on the web application XYZ. So it will be a concern for the higher authority management department of XYZ that they should perform a security analyst, or they should perform a security testing on this web application. So they will hire an organization for performing the both vulnerability assessment as well as penetration testing, or they will hire two different organization. One organization, that is organization A, will be performing VA, making a report of it and passing it down to the organization B, who is going to perform the penetration testing of it. So in other words, when we talk about, it's not necessary that the same organization will be doing vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. It could be different organization, let's say organization A can do VA, on the basis of which they will generate a report and pass it down to organization B, whereas the organization B will be performing the pen testing with on the basis of the information given by organization A. So it's all up to the choice, their choice. Though organization B can perform their own V and add up to the reports which is been provided by vulnerability assessment team or the organization A itself. So there are so many organizations across the globe following certain standards for VAPT. Now, when we talk about the standards of VAPT, we have got various standards. Like we have got standards from OWASP, that is Open Web Application Security Project. We have got standards from SANS 25. We have got standards from NIST, we have got standards from CIS benchmark, but there are certain standards which are being followed by the organization throughout the globe. And those common standards are, the very first standard is OWASP top 10. So OWASP top 10 is a list of attack generated specifically for web application, whereas the full form of OWASP is Open Web Application Security Project. They are non-profitable charitable organization who works towards the security of application. They don't want anything. But the main question comes that how do they get the list of these vulnerabilities? So what they do is they host CTFs, that is capture the flags, and give a call to hackers globally. That's an open call. Anyone can join that CTF, that is the capture the flag, and on the basis of which they will be gathering the logs information. When they gather the information about the logs, they will be able to grab what kind of request has been made, how a request has been made, from where a request has been made, to which resource a request has been made, what kind of payload has been transferred, what kind of data has been going through. So they keep doing this for continuously for 3 years. Like they will host a CTF once in a year like other major organization, and on the basis of the data gathered they will craft a list of attacks and they call it OWASP top 10. Same they do for IoT, same they do for web application, same they do for cloud and mobile application. So right now our major concern is OWASP top 10 for web application. So year after year, like once in every 3 to 4 years, they will be generating a list of attacks. So the last list which was released into the market of cyber society was OWASP top 10 2017. Before it, it was OWASP top 10 2013. Right now, we are looking into the list of OWASP top 10 2021, which was released last year. Again, it has got 10 different attacks. That is, first one is A1 broken access control, second one is cryptographic failure, third is injection, fourth is insecure design, fifth is security misconfiguration, sixth is vulnerability and outdated components, seventh one is identification and authentication failure, eighth is software and data integrity failure, ninth is security logging and monitoring failures, and the 10th is server side request forgery. So these are 10 attacks which are being followed by every organization. Same way, there is another organization named as SANS. So they generate an attack of 25 for web application, which is again followed by organization throughout the globe. So the very first one is improper neutralization of specific bments used in a SQL command. Then second one is improper neutralization of special bments in used in an OS command, that is OS command injection. Third one is buffer copy without checking size of input, that is classic buffer overflow. Then we have got improper neutralization of input during web page generation, that is cross-site scripting. We have got fifth one missing authentication for critical function. Then we have got missing authorization, then we have got use of hard coded credential, then we have got missing encryption of sensitive data, then we have got unrestricted upload of file with dangerous type. After that we are having reliance on untrusted input in a security decision, then we have got execution with unnecessary privilege, and after that it's followed by CSRF, that is cross site request forgery. We have got improper limitation of a path name to a restricted directory, that is directory traversal or path traversal. Apart from it we have got download of code without integrity check, and then incorrect authorization. 16th number says inclusion of functionality from untrusted control spheres, then incorrect permission assignment for critical resources, use of potentially dangerous function. Number 19 says use of broken or risky cryptographic algorithm. Number 20 says incorrect calculation of buffer size, which is again related to our buffer overflow attack. 21st says improper restriction of excessive authentication attempt. 22nd says invalidated redirects, that is open redirects or URL redirection to untrusted sites. Then we have got on number 23rd uncontrolled format string. On 24th integer buffer overflow or wrap around, and the last one, that is the 25th, says use of one way hash without a salt. So these are 25 attacks or 25 points where SANS 25 is basically focused upon. So seemingly these all attacks are similar, but there is a difference between representation of attacks as well as the data. So in OWASP top 10, we will be seeing all these data combined in just categories. Like when we talk about injections, injection contains OS command injection, XPath injection, LDAP injection, SQL injection, authentication bypass, as well as when we talk about broken access control, it is having a category of authorization, broken access control, IDOR, insecure direct object references, and other information. So same way, SANS came out with an expanded version of the attacks and named them as SANS 25 for web application. Now, we might all have watched some movies in which a robbery occurs, or a movie which is based upon a robbery. And in that movie, the whole team, before performing the whole robbery, they do certain specific tasks which makes them ease. So they do the whole planning before they do the whole robbery stuff. In other words, every movie in which there are excuse me, every movie in which there is a robbery occurring, they will be performing certain steps which is common in every robbery which happens, or every thief will be performing certain set of things which is quite essential for performing a theft or doing a robbery. Same way, we pen testers perform certain phases of hacking. Now these phases of hacking are quite essential as compared to each and every attack. Now whether it be a small hack or it be a large scale attack, we are supposed to follow certain steps, and those steps are categorized as phases of hacking. So there are five different phases of hacking, namely information gathering, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and covering traces. When we talk about phases of hacking, the very first one is information gathering, on which our this whole module is based upon. Information gathering means to gather as much possible information about the target so that it will be very easy for the attacker to hack into the target, which means the more information we have, the more ways are there via which we can hack into the target, as well as the more information we have, the more ways and more easy it will be for an attacker to exploit and breach into the target. So gathering information narrows our attack down. So it's the very first attack where we will start planning our attack and what kind of attack we can go for. Then second phase is scanning. In scanning phase, we will be scanning for open ports, the services running over those ports, and the operating system of the IPs or the servers or the systems which are running inside the network or on the web application. Same way, we'll try to enumerate more information or gather more information and try to take leverage of those information. Third phase is, since we have gathered all the necessary things like gathering the information, searching for open ports, searching for the version of the services running on those ports, what kind of operating system is running on those devices, we will try to gain the access, which means it's time to perform the whole attack. Then we have got a maintaining access phase. In maintaining access phase, we will be maintaining our access, which means next time when I want to perform or when I want to gain the access of the same system, I don't need to perform information gathering, I don't need to perform again scanning, I don't need to perform the same attack. So here in maintaining access, we will be maintaining a small backdoor which will be known only to us. So whenever I want, I can gain the access of the system randomly and without performing all the above three phases. Plus, here we'll be talking about escalating the privileges, deploying certain malicious codes apart from our access which we have gained, and for making sure it doesn't get closed, we will bind it with certain application which is open on a regular basis. Then at last we have got covering traces. In covering traces, we the attackers or the pen tester try to cover or erase the essence of their presence. So it means no one will be able to detect whether a hack has been happened, a data breach has occurred. So for doing so, the attacker needs to flush out the logs. Flush out the log means to erase each and every log which has been generated due to the activity of the hacker. Since every device maintains their own logs, as in, let's talk about a phone also maintains their own logs. When we talk about operating system also do maintain certain logs. For example, if I am supposed to show you the logs, so let me show you certain logs which our system or which my system has created here for. Cd space slash variable log. List it, and here you will be able to find out and see all of the logs which are quite present here. Let's clear the screen and do the ls for you once again. And here all sort of logs are there. Let's say install.logs is there, Wi-Fi logs are present over here, then certain hard disk logs are present over there, then system logs are present there. If I'm gonna go for cat system dot log, so it will show me all the logs of the system. So likewise, every system maintains, let it be a server, web application, a mobile, even a cloud, they all maintain their logs in a specific manner. So the attacker needs to erase all of these logs. Moving towards, that's not only those one phases. We have got various models via which an attacker can attack. So the very first was 5 phases of hacking, that is reconnaissance, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and covering the traces. Now apart from it, these phases can also be divided into phases of exploitation, that is pre-exploitation, exploitation, and post-exploitation. In pre-exploitation, we can categorize reconnaissance and scanning. In exploitation, we will be categorizing gaining access only, and in post exploitation we'll be going for maintaining access and covering the traces. Now when we talk about pre-exploitation, it means the tasks or the things which we need to perform before exploiting the target. In exploitation, we will be exploiting the device and gaining the access of the system, and in post exploitation we will be performing the things which are done once you have gained the access of the system. Now there is one more model which is also known as offensive model or Martin Lockheed cyber kill chain. When we talk about Martin Lockheed cyber kill chain, it's a 7 phase model where the very first step is recon, that is information gathering. Second is weaponization. Third one is delivery. Fourth one is exploitation. Fifth one is installation. Sixth one is CNC, that is command and control, and the last one is exfiltration. You take any phase all around the globe, the very first phase you will find is information gathering or reconnaissance. So again here in reconnaissance we'll try to gain the access of the system, which means not the access of the system, we'll try to gain the information about the system, whatever the information is, or wherever the information is, either on the open source platform or on the closed source platform or even on the private platform. Then we have got the weaponization. Weaponization here means to weaponize an attack, to weaponize an whole attack and to check out whether there is a possibility of attacking this whole model, or for attacking the whole data with the following thing. So it means in weaponization we will be pairing remote access malware with exploits into a deliverable payloads. For example, embedding a macro exploit in MS Office or MS Excel file. Then we have got the delivery. Delivery means transmission of weapon to target. That means here the attacker will be planning how he can or she can deliver the weaponized exploit to the target system via mail, via certain USBs, via certain websites, via certain attachments, or via any sort of method. It could include active directories too. Then we have got exploitation. Once the malware or our weapon has been delivered, the weapon's code is triggered, exploiting vulnerable applications on the system. So it means once the delivery of the weapon has been done, the next part is triggering the exploit or triggering the weapon so that our task could be done. Once exploitation is done, our fifth phase is installation. In installation, the weapon installs a backdoor on a target system, allowing persistent access or persistence backdooring, which means to gain the remote access of the system or the server or the web application via any means necessary, which is being coded inside the weapon which we have crafted or the attacker have crafted in the weaponization phase. Then we have got CNC, which is also known as command and control. Outside server communications with the weapon, providing hands-on keyboard access inside the target's network, which means you will be able to execute any sort of command, or in other words you will be having the keyboard of the system itself. So it means you can execute any command, you can perform RCE, that is remote code execution, or arbitrary command execution on the system itself. Then we have got exfiltration, also known as actions on objective. The attacker's work is to achieve the objective of the instruction, which can include exfiltration or destruction of data or intrusion of another target, which means from here the attacker can exfiltrate the data, could pivot into other systems inside the network, can pivot to other servers, can connect to different proxies, and can destroy the whole system and the data present inside the system. So that's what your Martin Lockhead cyber kill chain is. It's completely offensive practice of hacking. Now, whenever we talk about this information gathering means to gather as much information as possible about the target. In other words, information gathering means gathering information from any ways or any means necessary to gather. In short, via certain open source tool, via certain private or closed source tool, via certain specific tools, or via software or search engines or certain website. So in the later sessions, we will be seeing all the possible ways for gathering all sort of information via any means necessary. So whatever the things will be required, we'll be pursuing. Whatever the installations will be required, we'll be doing all sort of installations. Whatever the data will be required, we'll be transacting all of those data. And apart from it, we'll be seeing various tools and applications for performing information gathering over here. So information gathering is one of those ways where a person with the help of information gathering can earn a huge amount of money in the form of bounties. Now when we talk of information gathering, there are two different types of information gathering: passive information gathering and active information gathering. When we talk about passive information gathering is also known as open source intelligence or OSINT. It is the process of collecting openly available information about a target, generally without any direct interaction with the target. There are varieties of resources and tools we use to gather this information, and the process is cyclical rather than linear. In other words, the next step of any stage of the process depends upon what we find during the previous steps, creating cycles of process. Since each tool or resource can generate any number of varied results, it can be hard to define a standardized process. The ultimate goal of passive information gathering is to obtain information that clarifies or expands an attack surface, which helps the attacker to conduct a successful phishing campaign or supplement other penetration testing steps such as password guessing or brute forcing. Due to the cyclical nature of this process, passive information gathering will unfold differently than any other. Instead of presenting linked scenarios, we will be simply presenting various resources and tools, explaining how they work, and arm you with the basic techniques required to build a passive information gathering campaign. Using this approach maintains a high level of secrecy about our actions and intentions, but can also be cumbersome and may limit our results. So, in the further modules of passive information gathering, there we will adapt this later less rigid interpretation of our approach. So, several years ago, an organization was tasked with performing a penetration testing for a small company. This company had virtually no internet presence and very few externally exposed services, all of which prove to be secure. There are practically no attack surface as been spoken of that company. After a focused passive information gathering campaign, the organization who were performing the passive information gathering leveraged various Google search operators, connected bits of information piped into other online tools, and a bit of creative and logical thinking. They found a forum post made by one of the targets employed in a stamp collecting firm, which they leverage and use it to perform the whole attack. So that's why passive information gathering is pretty much essential about the things. Now, while we perform the passive information gathering, it is quite useful for us, and that an information gathering campaign can generate a lot of data, and it's important that we manage that data well so that we can leverage it in the further searches or in the later phases. There is no right or wrong way to take notes. However, you must find it easier to retrieve information later on if you keep detailed and well formatted notes. So that was all about a passive information gathering. On the contrary, we have got another part of passive information gathering, and that part is known as active information gathering, where in passive information gathering we never made a direct communication or contact with the target itself. In active information gathering, we will move beyond passive information gathering and explore techniques that involves direct interaction with target services. We will take a look at some foundational techniques, but bear in mind that there are immeasurable services that can be targeted in the field. This includes Active Directory, for example, which we cover in the later on phases. However, we will look at some of the more common active information gathering techniques in the modules, which include port scanning, DNS enumeration, operating system enumeration, user enumeration, and so on. So I hope I made us very much clear about different types of information gathering, phases of hacking, Martin Lockheed cyber kill chain, VAPT, what are different standards, that is OWASP top 10 and SANS 25. Thank you for being a good listener. Wish you a very happy and safe day. See you in the next session. Bye bye.